up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Lawmakers are reviewing bills on the preservation of historical sites. The issue has sparked debate across political parties and activist groups, with some accusing the main opposition Kuomintang of trying to get rid of its dark mark on Taiwan's history. Joyce Dunn reports.
In the spotlight at the legislature is how to preserve Taiwan's historical sites of injustice like this one from the White Terror era, an almost 4-decade-long period of brutal martial law which saw tens of thousands of people imprisoned and killed under Kuomintang rule. This Taipei post office was where military police and civilians clashed on February 28, 1947, one of the events that triggered the authoritarian crackdown. The Kuomintang today is the main opposition party, and at the legislature, lawmakers from across the political spectrum are reviewing various proposals on what preserving sites like this looks like. A group of human rights activists are taking issue with one particular proposal from 2 Kuomintang lawmakers to expand the definition of sites of injustice beyond the White Terror period, to include those from the Qing dynasty and the Japanese colonial era. They say this downplays the harm caused by the then Kuomintang regime.
这会发生什么情况呢？会发生未来我们的民众根本搞不清楚什么叫做这个不义遗址，根本搞不清楚什么叫威权的统治，更不清楚说威权统治跟民主转型有什么样的关联性。
At the heart of this debate is transitional justice, the effort to recognize historical truths and compensate for atrocities committed before Taiwan's shift to democracy. While the Kuomintang says all oppressions should be included in Taiwan's dark history, some activists are concerned that the Kuomintang is attempting to evade responsibility and its role in the country's hard-won democracy. Devin Tai and Joyce Zhen in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Navy is practicing how to defend the country's maritime border. It's wrapping up 3 days of exercises designed to keep the military alert before the Lunar New Year. Kang reports from southern Taiwan.
I'm here in Kaohsiung, which is home to Taiwan's largest naval base, for the final parts of military exercises ahead of the Lunar New Year. The Navy is letting us hop on aboard some of their ships to see how they're training to protect the country's maritime borders. Military personnel here are conducting a simulation of how they would respond to a suspicious vessel heading towards Taiwan in an attempt to breach the country's maritime border. What they're doing is dispatching teams of 2 corvettes armed with anti-ship missiles in less than 30 minutes to practice real combat maneuvers.
面对中共不间断的灰色地带袭扰，我们会持续强化平战结合的训练，我们会全力以赴捍卫海疆的安全。
Also on display are rare underwater operations, where divers practice recovering equipment and fixing critical infrastructure to keep their ships at sea as long as possible. Last year, Taiwan reported the highest number of Chinese Coast Guard and naval ships operating around the country as China conducted 3 large-scale military exercises. That's why in recent years, Taiwan has invested heavily into its domestic shipbuilding industry to ease reliance on the U.S., which is Taiwan's largest provider of weapons. All the ships taking part in this drill have been made in Taiwan, with the newest vessel, the Dawu, commissioned and put into service just 3 months ago.
我们也借由大武舰的性能展示，以及水下作业大队的演练，具体展现了国舰国造的成效，以及我海军水下作业的能量。
With a range of maritime threats around Taiwan, the Navy says that the most important thing is to cooperate with other branches of the military to get a complete picture of what's happening around the country. This will be even more pertinent when there's an uptick in travel ahead of the Lunar New Year, as many people go for their long holiday. Fu Hua Hong and Jaime Okan in Kaohsiung for TaiwanPlus.
Illegal loggers were spotted felling 1,000-year-old red cypress trees in central Taiwan. Hikers just north of a forest reserve in Nantou alerted police after seeing the loggers and battered trees. Illegal logging has been an ongoing problem in Taiwan. Conservationists have recommended deploying surveillance technology, including drones, to tackle the issue.
无人机它可以追踪热影像也好，或者是声音也好，我们把人力呢，着重在于地面上的打击。好，就是说，当无人机发现了一个蛛丝马迹或者是一些异常的时候呢，我们的地面的这些人员呢，事实上是类似快打部队，能够迅速的到现场去逮捕到这些现行犯。
Last year, the cabinet promised to put more resources into stopping illegal logging. Wildfires in Southern California are being called the worst in Los Angeles history. At least 5 people are dead and over 1,000 buildings destroyed as firefighters struggle to contain the flames. John Van Trieste reports.
Curtis inspects the charred remains of the trailer park in Pacific Palisades, California, that until Tuesday had been home. The destruction is total. All that's left is an eerie hush as the dry winds that drove the wildfire through this neighborhood blow through the rubble.
How much would you say that you've lost?
Everything. I got my car, whatever's in my car. So, don't know.
But there's little time for reflection here in the Los Angeles suburbs. Multiple blazes are racing through the area, with firefighters saying they are 0% contained. Already, over 1,000 buildings have burned. The consensus among longtime residents seems to be that these are the worst fires anyone can remember. In another part of Pacific Palisades, Sana Chong is hurriedly hosing down the bamboo hedge outside his home.
I know this looks pretty stupid, but if I can save one ember from burning down my house, I'll take the risk.
He's fed up with what he sees as inaction over the threat of wildfires and reports of problems with water supplies as firefighters try to rein them in.
We need our governments to be more proactive about these wildfires. They're happening every single time, several times a year. There must be some things we can do to try to mitigate this. Please. Fire hydrants are empty. Firefighters are doing everything they can, but we need to do things more proactively before.
Now, in the final days of his presidency, Joe Biden has promised help is on the way, pledging to do, quote, anything and everything as long as it takes to tame these fires and help reconstruct. But the scale of the disaster means this won't be easy, and the aftermath will largely fall to the next administration. For now, over 100,000 evacuees wait for news of their losses. In the city of Pasadena, the convention center's been turned into a makeshift shelter, with volunteers handing out Red Cross blankets, food, and other essentials. Just over a week ago, this city welcomed the new year with the celebratory Rose Bowl American Football Championship. Now, with the so-called Eaton fire raging just kilometers away, the mood here has turned bleak.
What was interesting for me was the realization as I was choosing things, the things that I didn't choose. And it wasn't, sometimes you'd look at something, you go, you know what, I've had that for almost all my life, but you know what, I can let that go. I can let it go, I can let it go. And then I took photographs and things that meant something, a little figurine that my daddy bought for me when I was 5, or those kinds of things.
Backup is on the way, with fire crews headed to the scene from as far away as the neighboring state of Arizona. But while weakening winds have Pasadena's fire chief hopeful of progress in the coming days, crews have a brutal fight on their hands. James Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Tibetans living in exile in India have held a candlelight vigil for victims of Tuesday's magnitude 6.8 earthquake that killed 126 people. The vigil was held in Dharamshala, the seat of Tibet's government in exile. At the gathering, activists also called on China to stop destroying Tibet's environment. China took control of Tibet in the 1950s. The powerful quake has destroyed 3,000 homes, leaving survivors without shelter in below freezing conditions. The largest tech show in the world is in full swing, following keynotes from major players like NVIDIA and AMD. And while many of these products rely on hardware giants in Taiwan like TSMC, smaller companies from Taiwan are also going to Las Vegas to show how practical AI can be. Chris Gorin reports.
What if you woke up in the morning and a mirror could tell you if you were having a heart attack? What if instead of going out and mowing the lawn, an army of robots could do it for you? What if you could use artificial intelligence to help you become a better athlete? Some innovators from Taiwan are looking to answer these questions with new product launches at the world's largest tech trade fair, the Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, in Las Vegas.
Taiwan may best be known for its chips that are fueling the AI explosion.
But some smaller companies and research groups here are also going to this year's CES to show how they're using AI technologies in practical ways that can be seen in everyday life. One of those exhibitors is FaceHeart, a medical AI company that is releasing its first major piece of hardware, a smart mirror. Using a hidden camera and proprietary AI software, a scan of your face can pick up several of your cardiac vital signs. It's one example of what the company says will be the expanding use of household devices for medical care.
This is actually pretty exciting because when people are thinking of hypertension, they are thinking of diabetes, they have to buy a lot of expensive medical devices. But what if it can be all done by your smartphones? It can all be done by your TV. Then people can reduce the cost to reach health services, and they can have better control of their chronic disease.
Operation is simple. Enter some personal information and stand still for 45 seconds. All right, Doc, give it to me straight. How long have I got to live? Aside from vital signs, FaceHeart says their mirror can detect potentially life-threatening conditions like atrial fibrillation, also known as AFib, and heart failure with over 90% accuracy. AI may be able to monitor your heart in your bathroom. But who's monitoring the lawn out in your yard? It could be these autonomous lawnmower robots from URS Robot. Using a combination of cameras, sensors, and AI software, the company says their new model, making its debut at CES, can be used to cut large areas of grass easily and safely.
This product is majorly designed for the commercial landscaping company. So like the commercial property, school, golf course, or some parks.
The system uses a digital marker to draw the cutting area, which can then be refined or changed on a smartphone app. Set your cut height, and up to 10 robots can be dispatched to dispatch your grass. The robot can detect objects in its path and avoid them. Or if smaller objects, such as rocks or hands, get underneath it, it can instantly stop the motor. So will these grass slicers put gardeners out of business?
We are here to help you have better life, easy job. You don't worry about they take the mowing job from you. You can do some other more valuable tasks, like you can trim the bushes or you can make the flower bed. Boring things, you just let robotic mower to take care.
Now you've got your green, but what about your swing? Well, when it comes to badminton at least, Taiwan's Industrial Technology Research Institute, or ITRI, is working on that. It's debuting a new AI badminton trainer at CES. The device uses miniaturized cameras and a specially designed chip package to analyze players' movements, giving detailed data to those who need the extra edge.
I think there's a lot of use cases for this. There's just a lot of things that to the naked eye as a human, you can't really get exact details for. So for example, shuttle speed, right? We can kind of tell that we're hitting it hard or fast, but we'll never be able to know exactly that miles per hour that we're getting. I'm now able to know exactly which combination of strings and racket and tensions might perhaps generate, the fastest smash for me.
Professional athletes like Shu say it's only a matter of time before this kind of training tech comes to other sports as well. So whether it's your heart, your yard, or your game, Taiwan's innovators at CES are trying to show that their innovations are a cut above the rest. Luffy Lee and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Follow TaiwanPlus News on social media for more of our stories. Finally, let's take a sneak peek of a new indigenous culture exhibit at Mexico's Museum of Anthropology. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.